Yep, it's broken again. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. Now, if you don't want to hear me talk about Gibson's broken website and just want to get straight to the guitars, just take your little cursor, come down here, find the part of the video that you want to watch. Or go to the description down here and click on the area you want to go to. Pro tip, that's on most of my videos. So, Gibson's website is changing, and it's probably changing due to the fact that the old website wasn't doing so good. I mean, the past couple 2-3 weeks were doing okay, except for, remember how we talked last week? There were multiple orders for the same guitar, and that frustrated a lot of buyers. And let me tell you, from a business perspective, Gibson lost a lot of money last week. Okay, so for example, the one we documented, the orange flame top, that was listed originally at $3,300. I know of at least 2 other people who also purchased that, and I'm sure that number is a lot higher, probably up to 10. What the average buyer probably doesn't know is that when a business takes a credit card transaction and it gets refunded later on, they don't get refunded their fee. That's how it is with PayPal now. That's how it is like on my website, pretty much anybody's website. Now, I'm not sure if Gibson has a different processing system, but that's how it is. So for $3,300, even if Gibson has great rates and they only get charged 2%, that's $66 they're going to lose on every single refund. So imagine if 100 people bought that. That's $6,500. So they probably lost a good 10 grand just because of that error. So that probably kicked them in the butt to do this. Break the website even further. So here's how it goes. The normal time they were supposed to upload, nothing was happening. So I got a little bit worried, but after 10 minutes, it finally updated and it looked like this. All the photos were tiny. You couldn't see anything. They changed up the layout where it was just not good in general. But to be fair, it looks like Gibson has updated their entire website to a very similar format. And I don't know, I really enjoy the 2018 version of the Gibson website, and they were still doing something kind of similar to that. And I'm sure they're still working on tweaking things, but it just seems so much harder to see the guitars. Like, their zoom in is like not all that helpful anymore. But if there's one thing that they did get right, I like this. Body specs, neck specs, hardware specification. I mean, that's all really easy to look at now. So props to you, Gibson, on that, but can we go back to inches, please? Because that means nothing to me. These guys were just not ready for this week, but they had to post it anyways. But here's the big kicker. If you would click on any of those, this would show up, page not found. So all the links were broken. You couldn't actually buy anything for at least an hour. I was here for the first half hour, it didn't work. Next time I came back was about an hour and a half later, and yeah, things were updated, the photos got big, and people were eventually able to purchase things. But since I had better things to do, I opened up all the photos in a different tab. But sadly, they were small like this. So I came up here, I thought W equals, I wonder if I change that to something else, if I can get the full resolution photo. Sure enough, there we go. So some of the ones this week I kind of missed as far as seeing the back. I'm sorry, I tried my best. But perhaps the saddest thing about this new website update is we can no longer see these sold listings. Remember how you used to go up here and write sold, and then you'd have a page that shows you everything? Now, we don't currently have a workaround to see the sold ones, so this is why I do what I do. I have, ever since the introduction of this thing, every week done a recap so we can actually go back and see them, specifically for reasons like this. Now, who knows? Maybe they're working on it, they'll get a better one, or we'll find a different workaround. But as of right now you have to tune into my show. But what's even worse is not having that page. All the old pages no longer work either. Like if you wanted to see how much one of those cosmic stews used to list for, you can't. Not as of right now. That's a big loss. All right, so let's get into the mod collection of this week. Just like the regular listings, these things are now different as well. We used to have to scroll down here to find other photos of the guitar, but now they are right here. So I'm sure many people will see that as a plus. So this is a Les Paul Special in Regal Plum. It just kind of looks like a dark purple finish. Modifications of no pickguard, you've got black plastics, and it is a full-on refinish. Next, we have a 57 Custom Shop Junior. This thing is just crazy. So we no longer have volume and tone switches. We have on-off switches. So it's probably like all on tone or all off, or maybe they put something else in here because we've got a custom-made plaque right here, probably to hide the heel joint. But other than the custom finish, no pickguard, well, I guess you could say modified pickguard. It's just your regular P90 Custom Shop Les Paul Junior. but with a full-on refin. Next is a Les Paul Standard 50s in what they called smooth brown. Not gonna lie, that's a decent name for it. It is a really smooth brown finish. It's just like a darkish reddish brown going into mud. Primus might like that Les Paul. Then we have a natural back. If Southwestern Honeyed Nights is more your style, check out this Les Paul special. The price on this was not bad, $18.99 for a custom finish. I mean, it's all black, so it's kind of like the School of Rock Les Paul specials that we documented at one point in time. However, we've got like this honeycomb-like design. I guess it's cool if you're a beekeeper. But then they sting you on the back, yellow back plates and a yellow stinger. That was a pretty good pickup. But check out this natural satin Trini Lopez. They must have just had a small batch of these get all messed up or something. So now they're playing with them. Now we've got a natural satin finish. And at first I was like, all right, interesting finish. Not my favorite. But then, I'm sorry, ma'am. Old Gibson logo just happened. It makes it unique. It put it on my radar. I like it. Because now when you look at the whole picture, it's just a big jumbled mess. Firebird neck, 335 body, diamond F-holes, old style logo. It's interesting. As far as the back goes, nothing too fancy. Continuing on, this one is called Evening Forest. It's kind of a plain top Les Paul custom. I mean, you get a little bit of like almost a bird's eye figuring going on. No pickguard, gold hardware. It appears to be a reissue of some sort because it actually has the ABR1 bridge. It's nice, but whoa. The back, it looks like it started maybe cherry and then they sprayed it over like a brown color. Now the Evening Forest thing makes sense. And it looks like the edges are done up like that as well. That one's definitely a little bit cooler than I thought it was at first. And now a J45 in a kind of a similar finish to the back of the last one, just without the green. They called it Desert Thistle. This one is all uniform in color and was offered at $3,400. But how's this for the weekly freak? Triple P94 pickups with the radiator grille styles here. You got your racing stripe stuff going on, which works really well on an SG, I might add. HP style knobs all chromed out. Kind of superhero vibes going on, but it's an SG custom. But look at this, single ply binding around the headstock. It looks so strange because we're so used to the multi-ply binding on the customs, but I'm wondering, how did this happen? Like, the only thing I can think of that's like this stock from the factory is the SG Deluxe. No, not the 70s version, this guy right here. Kind of like one of those Supreme/Supras, but a little bit more usual. However, our serial number on this definitely confirms it's a newer guitar. So that makes me believe maybe this was a made to measure, that they only wanted the single ply binding and it got messed up or something. I don't know. Then as far as the back goes, they painted the back plate, continued the design, but didn't do it for the neck. They were definitely shooting for the moon on this one, 7,000. Can't say I'm surprised that one hasn't sold yet. At $1,500, there was a regular Les Paul Studio, just a couple of plastics mods. There was a 335 that they played with black and gold. So they do it on the knobs and everything else, but they don't do it on the tuners? Come on, half of these should be black. And now the true gems that sold out really quickly to people who were just way too patient waiting for the shop to actually open. We've got this guy. It's like a red swirled sparkle finish. It's got a whole lot of stuff going on. It's almost a burst job at the same time, like slightly darker edges. This blends like widowed elements into the SG Custom, which I don't think we've seen before. I mean, we might have, but this was actually really cool. We had a Les Paul done up in a striking blue finish. Remember, these are the ones I don't have photos of the back on, unfortunately, but that looks pretty nice in that finish. We had another P94 equipped 68 style SG in the ebony finish, but yet high performance style knobs, and that pearloid pickguard looks pretty good on that one. There was one kind of similar to the one that we had just documented. It's got like this interesting midnight glow finish going on. Now, unfortunately, no fun kill switches, no burst driver circuit, but the big thing this time is it was a custom shop, and honestly, the price was pretty good on this. Unfortunately, I didn't have the patience this week to try to buy anything. But I will say, Les Paul with these tail pieces, they're actually all right. There was a lime green slime sparkle one here with a clear pickguard, clear knobs, all chromed out hardware everywhere. And then as a complement to that, there was another standard that was just a little bit more limey than the last. And that is going to wrap it up for the mod collection this week. All I gotta say is I hope next week is better. I get it. New website, there's gonna be growing pains. I pretty well expected it when I saw the website start to change. Just when we thought we had things going. We gotta start from ground zero again. But hopefully, they'll have an even better website that can handle all the traffic as we step into this new era of Gibson. Okay, let's switch gears over to the US demo shop. Smooth sailing as always, and a whole bunch of players grade stuff this week. The cream of the crop consists of this 58 reissue. Nice plain top over here. until you get right there, and it's got like an ear. Can you hear me now? I just thought that was kind of a interesting wood grain. Nothing else was particularly remarkable about this one besides being a great 58 reissue. Then there was a 60 standard here with kind of an interesting top. Whole lot of mineral streaks, a little bit of wood grainage, a little bit of flameage. It's just everything if you like all the things that you can find in wood. And then the back, not much to sneeze at there either. We've got a Lefty Silverburst custom, but I'm not showing you this because it's a Silverburst. I'm showing it for the serial number. Remember we were just talking, hey, Silverbursts have now switched over to white serial numbers. At first I thought it was an accident, and then it just kind of became standard. Now we're back to black again. Make up your mind, custom shop. Maybe they were like running low on black ink. I don't know. But check out this 68 reissue. Kind of unremarkable from the top. I mean, uncovered pickups, no pick guard. Yeah. Cool. But then you go to the wide shot and it's like, okay, that straight up black truss rod cover is pretty darn cool. Despite being a Gibson USA part, it just makes this a seething black hole. But then I flipped it over to the back. Whoa, CME 00001. No, it's actually 91. So it's not like the first one or a prototype, but it was some sort of a CME exclusive. So that's so many shocks on this thing. And then you get to the case. Gibson USA Les Paul Platinum case? Holy cow, that thing's old. How do they have that? Why do they pair it with this guitar? We might never know. But a 68 reissue for $4,500? Are we sure that's still available? Yes, it is still available. I can't believe that has not sold. Here's one of those cool 42 banner reissues. So you've got your whole sloped shoulders going on. But the reason you want one of these is because it is ultra vintage looking. And you get the rosewood back. That is looking good. And then look at that headstock. They call it the banner style because only a Gibson is good enough banner. And of course, our old pre-war style Gibson logo. Now we move on to the things that have sold. We have a Lefty Special. However, a keen-eyed viewer would note, those are not P90 pickups. It was the very first thing that caught my attention, so I went down to the spec sheets and they're calling them P90 pickups. All right, I'm gonna teach you something here. Gibson P90s have adjustable pull pieces for all of them. So if you need a little bit of oomph out of a particular string, you're supposed to raise that up a bit. Or you can raise the whole thing up if it's across the board needs adjusted. But these ones, you can't do that. Those are P90S pickups. The last time I knew they used those was somewhere around 2014 in like their Melody Maker series. Those are fantastic guitars. Check out the review and demo. Now, these are a little bit more single coily sounding, which is weird to say because P90s are single coils, but they don't have the same P90 sound. They're a little bit cleaner, I guess you could say. If you go into them thinking they're real P90s, you're going to be disappointed. If you go into them thinking, hey, these are kind of weird, interesting things, you're going to have a good time. It's kind of like the Firebird Zeros. If you go into those things thinking they're humbuckers, you're going to be very disappointed. But if you go in thinking those humbuckers are going to sound like single coils, you might have a good time like I did in this episode. That was just something that popped out at me. I mean, Pearloid backplate, but then white there, okay. This one's just kind of strange. Next, we had one of those special tributes. I don't think I've ever seen one of these with such a big ring on it, especially in that area. Kind of looks like picking wear or something. That's cool, I like it. I really like this streak as well. But those guys have maple necks if you're interested in that. This SG Modern Blueberry. Man, love the pearloid look on this. It changes it from Blueberry Burst to Sky Burst. So I was really digging this thing just from that. And then you flip it over to the back and they stinged it. A little bit extra long even on this one. Might be the photo angle, but I don't think quite got it in the center, but whatever. But this 60 standard unburst, that is a perfect top. Yeah, whoever got that, congratulations. That's a nice one. As far as the European side of things go, nothing that fascinating. Kind of weird wood grain on the 60s tribute. 60s standard with a abnormal flame top, only flamed in the center. A little bit extra long there. It's got some whiskers. That's what I would call that one. Needs trimming. Probably looks a lot better in person though. And then we had another one of those early Murphy Labs guitars that the finish just starts chipping off of it. I mean, that is an ultra dark finish. But then you start going through these photos and you can see just how extensive that finish checking is. Like their new thing was just a little bit too good, that they became too deep, and then you can start to see in like this cutaway area where it starts to flake off. Now apparently they fixed that. Only time will tell if their new technique is sustainable. But yeah, that one's got some flake and finish. But the deep finish checks, they kind of have their own vibe all on their own. But I'd be scared that all the finish is just going to fall off on these one day. If you're one of those speculating collectors, maybe buy one of these and hold it back. Maybe it's going to be like the gold bursts. The people who sent them back to the factory to be refinished into the new harvest burst, they're not going to be quite as cool as your orange peely gold burst. This time, I guess your bare naked chipping guitar is going to be more valuable. Who knows? And lastly, another heavy modification from these guys. P94 pickups, black and gold hardware, Les Paul Classic. I think that's enough talking for today. All right, Troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Maybe next week I'll buy something again because I've been having a fantastic time documenting the cool guitars lately. But then again, that's all dependent on the mod collection, modding something up, especially to my tastes. All right, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care.